Good morning, students. Hope you are fine at home. So, we have already started with the first chapter, that is transport of water and minerals in plants. So, we'll just continue with the same chapter. We have already discussed about the transport system, that what are the two basic tissues which are responsible for the transport of water and minerals in the plant. So water and minerals are transported by the xylem tissue, whereas the food which is manufactured, that has been transported through the phloem tissue. Now how the absorption and all the process is taking place, that we are going to discuss in this video. It happens at three levels. The first level is by the root cells. That is the fine root hairs which are present at the end of the roots. So first is absorption of water and minerals in plants by root hairs. So first of all, we need to understand that what do you mean by root hair. So root hair, students, basically is the extension of the epidermal cell of the root. So what do you mean by epidermal cell? Epidermal cell is the outermost layer of the roots. So the extension of that particular cell of the root is the root hair. Now the root hair are covered with semi-permeable membrane and it is filled with the fluid called the cell sap. Now the question arises, what do you mean by semi-permeable membrane? So semi-permeable, semi itself is saying half. Semi means half, so that means it is half permeable. Permeable means that alloying membrane. So this membrane will be acting as half, permitting half of the content. So whatever is required by the roots, by the plant, that will be allowed inside, whereas rest of the unwanted substances will remain out. Now it is filled with cell sap. So this is the liquid which is filled in the vacuole. So that is called the cell sap. Now looking at the figure which is already there in your books, figure 1.4, here we have that in the center we have the concentrated cell sap. This is the one of the epidermal cell which is being magnified. Then the outermost covering is the cell wall. The inner membrane is the cell membrane. Then inside it is filled with the fluid, that is the cytoplasm, whereas we have a vacuole, the empty space, and then the nucleus is there, and this is the extension, that is the fully grown root hair. This is the fully grown root hair which has been there. So this root hair will be placed in the soil, so this will be helpful in absorbing the minerals or water from the soil. So now how the root hair are adapted for doing its purpose, doing its various functions, that is the absorption, that we'll discuss. The very first adaptation is semi-permeable membrane of unicellular root hair. So it is semi-permeable, so the unwanted substances are not allowed to enter inside. There will be soil particles also, unwanted particles also, harmful for the plant, that will not be permitted inside. Now the next adaptation is the cell sap in root hairs has higher salt concentration than surrounding. This we'll discuss little later in this chapter, that the cell sap which I have already shown you here, this cell sap is having high concentration as compared to the surrounding, that is the what it is surrounded by, the soil. Then it is having a large vacuole. Large vacuole means the cell sap will be more. Then the root hair. So root hairs, as they are very fine, so they are acting or serving for the larger surface area. So more surface area or larger the surface area, better will be the absorption will be taking place. Now, how we can say that roots are the main part of the plant which is responsible for absorption of water and minerals from the soil. So this we can discuss with the activity which is already being given. So here we have taken 4 test tubes. In first test tube we have filled in the colored water. This in the B test tube again we have taken the colored water and placed a twig of plant attached. The roots are attached still to the plant. Then we have the third test tube. In this what we have done, we have added the red colored ink, so as to see that where this red colored water is moving. Now in the fourth test tube, that is the D test tube, we have placed the colored water, but the stem, we have made sure that in B and C test tubes the roots of the plant is immersed into the water, as you can see here, whereas in D we have made sure that roots are not dipped in the water, they are not touching. So after some time we will see that no change in the level of test tube A, whereas there will be surely level of water changing in B and C, whereas no change in D. But one more observation we will be able to make out, that is in B, how come the twig of the plant is remain fresh. In C also it is fresh, but in D test tube we can see that the twig of the plant is drooping down, is wilting, has started wilting. So this we can say that because the roots are dipped in B and C, we can say that roots are able to absorb water from these test tubes and therefore giving water supply to the leaves where the food can be manufactured. And in C, where we have placed the red ink, that we can see that this red ink will be shown, will be clearly seen in the xylem tissues. So by this experiment we can conclude that yes, the roots are the major part of the plant which is responsible for absorption of water and minerals from the soil. Now there are various methods. There are 2 things which are being absorbed, that is water and the minerals. Now water is absorbed by 2 processes, that is diffusion and osmosis. Now diffusion and osmosis are similar, but there is one major difference, that in diffusion no semi-permeable membrane is there, whereas in osmosis there is surely a semi-permeable membrane. Now how to understand what is diffusion and osmosis? First we will discuss about diffusion. Diffusion is dependent on the concentration gradient and permeability. So now what is concentration gradient? Concentration gradient is that high concentration. It is always that the substances will move from their high concentration to their lower concentration. The same thing is happening in osmosis also. That is, it is also moving as per the concentration gradient. But the difference is it will be through the semi-permeable membrane. So one experiment I will be showing you to clarify what is diffusion. So I have taken a glass of water, as you can see. Now I have put some ink into it. After putting the ink, you can clearly see that how the ink is moving. Yes, making the whole of the water bluish in color. Yes, so this is what diffusion is happening. This is not osmosis, this is diffusion, because no membrane is there in between the ink which we have added and the water. So this is diffusion, whereas osmosis, we surely have a semi-permeable membrane. The example can be the resin dipped in the water, plain water. So you can see that the resin, after some time, it just swells up. So that is osmosis taking place. Now, how the minerals are being absorbed, that is done by the active transport. The method is active transport. So what is active transport? The transport of molecules and ions against a concentration gradient by using energy. Obviously it is something which is against the concentration gradient, that is from their lower concentration to their higher concentration. It has to move, so it has to use some kind of energy, right? So therefore active transport requires energy, whereas diffusion or osmosis, it doesn't require any kind of extra energy, so because they are going as per the concentration gradient. Now the second level of adaptation, the second method of absorption of water and minerals is cell to cell transport. So the cortex cell, the absorbed water moves through the cell of the cortex of roots by cell to cell osmosis. From one cell it moves to another cell. So this is how the water molecules are moving from one cell to the other cell. Now the third level is conduction of water or ascent of sap from roots to leaves. Now it has, from the root hairs, it has been come into the roots now by cell to cell transfer through the process of osmosis. Now from roots it has to reach to leaves to prepare the food. So this upward movement of water and minerals through the stem up to the leaves, this is called ascent of sap. That is the sap which is having the water and minerals, that has to travel from the roots to the leaves. Now absorbed water by roots is sap because it is a dilute solution of minerals. So whatever the water is absorbed by the roots, it's called sap, whatever it is absorbing, because it is a dilute solution of minerals, right? So it is having some amount of minerals in it, therefore it is not called water, but it is called a sap, right? So I hope you have understood. So kindly go through the chapter, please read the chapter till here and try to solve the exercises related to it and the question answers, and take care, be safe and study well.